Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to be doing the questions for the 1,000 subscribers Q&A audio thing. So, I'm also going to be joined by the lovely Catboy, who will be doing his part after me, because we have kind of short sections, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not claiming that there's favoritism. I mean, I'm fine doing a short section, means less work. But yeah. So we're gonna do them together. So without any further ado, let's get going. And I'd just like to say thank you all for your questions. It's been pretty awesome. I appreciate it. So, to start off, we have Primrose Bard Lichen, who asks, what is your favorite way to care for the tiny listener and for self-care? I'd love to know how you all relax and activities you find relaxing. Alright, so, if my friends come to me looking for care, they usually want like a potion of some kind. So I guess potion making. But relaxation wise, I'd say like movie nights and stuff, or like board games. Something nice to kind of unwind with. They're pretty fun. Now, if they're like tiny, it's probably because I shrank them at their behest. So in that case, I just do whatever they want. You know, if they want me to be doting or wholesome, teasy or casual, mean, whatever. 9 out of 10 times, I'm just there to make sure they don't hurt themselves and to make sure that they're having a good time. So, however they want me to act, whatever they want me to do, as long as it's not dangerous, I'm happy to do it. As for self-care, I don't know. I like to keep up with magic stuff, so I guess that's it. Like magazines, potion craft, academic papers, news, whatever. I just like consuming information on magic. Plus, it helps with the shop, so yeah. Thank you, Primrose Bard Lichen. I really appreciate it. And next we have JellyKid66, who asks, what are the 1 or 2 things you'd bring to a beach day get-together? Gosh, I can't remember the last time I went to a proper beach. Well, usually when I go places outside of town, it's for some kind of like event or for my sibling. So I'll say I need to take along my sibling in like a towel. Swim trunks are optional, because otherwise I'll just wear some warm weather clothes. I don't need to get in the water or anything like that. And the next question that JellyKid66 asks is, if you were to have a platform to make content, what kind of content would you make? Videos, photography, etc. I don't really know. I'd probably do like a blog. Maybe like a 300 spells in 365 days kind of thing, where I could try to learn more complex magic and document it, showing the process of learning magic from start to finish, and also detailing how I streamline the process with the information I already know. I think that could be neat. So yeah, I'd probably do that like a blog, where like a limited time blog kind of thing. Thank you, JellyKid66. Next, Cairo the Fudanshi asks, how big are we compared to you? And I'm not too sure if this question was addressed to everyone or not, but depends on how small you want to be honest. I'm kind of a pro alchemist, so any size ranging from a 2-story building to smaller than a bottle cap works for me. And Cairo also asks, what's your favorite anime if you watch it? You know what? I just actually finished watching Cyberpunk Edge Runners recently. It was so good. especially for a limited series. The characters have great chemistry, and the soundtrack is so good. Super gory, though. But, like, I think that's to be expected with Cyberpunk. But, like, yeah, if you're not into gore, if you're not into, like, sad stuff, do not watch it. But it's also really good. It's beautiful, just amazing to see. So, yeah, thank you for your questions, Cairo the Fudanshi. Let's see. Neon Cherry 64 asks, what made you want to study magic, and how long have you been studying for? Good question. So, back a long time ago, I actually learned about magic because my family's, like, doctor, I guess? He did magic. And he'd use it to give my sibling and I checkups and, like, help cure basic illnesses and so on. He's super gifted in biomagic and restoration, and I wanted to be like him. So, I learned a lot of the rituals and stuff for that. So, yeah, but my sibling was also super gifted at inherent magic, which is like casting spells without having to prepare them and whatnot. So while I know a lot of rituals, I usually just take those and potion craft. I don't usually do the inherent magic. I'm not as good as it. As for how long I've been studying, I've been studying for most of my life, so like a few decades now, I think. I don't remember the exact span of time. But that being said, thank you for your question, Neon Cherry 64. Next, Victory 3002 asks, what are some of your more popular or more powerful potions and spells that you're known for? Honestly, my transformation potions are probably the most popular. Everyone wants to feel comfortable in their own skin, right? And sometimes that means being bigger than you usually are. Sometimes it means being smaller, or being a satyr, or an elf, being male or female, or genderless, or literally incorporeal. And almost all of my transformation potions are temporary, though I do occasionally take commissions for permanent or longer lasting ones for those people who want them. But yeah, people tend to get them because it'll let them feel more comfortable as themselves for a while. And they can get back to daily life after. That said, my most powerful spells are probably ones called moon rituals. Basically, they work best under moonlight, and instead of casting the spell directly, you focus arcane energy into a conduit from which you can then cast a spell. And you can do this over multiple days, so like as long as you have patience and as long as the ritual isn't messed around with too much, you can basically make it as powerful as you want. So like preservation rituals, healing rituals, all of that. Sometimes we'll even do weather alteration rituals if need be. It's pretty fun stuff. Next, Victory 3002 asks, are there any ethical considerations you take into account when crafting potions or casting spells? One of the biggest things I think about when making potions or writing spell scrolls is how accessible they'll be. Like if a potion calls for a super rare flower that I can only have shipped in once a year or something, I probably won't sell it except on commission, because I want to make sure that everyone can access my creations. I also tend to work exclusively with fairly basic potions and spells because it's cheaper and easier, so I can do more of it. But also, it's less likely to go horribly awry. Like, I wouldn't want to make a spell or a potion that turns things into gold, for example, because that could go really badly if something's not experienced with it. It's the same reason I have a special place in my house and in my shop as well for tiny people. I don't usually get tiny customers, but I do get customers wanting to be shrunken, so I'll usually watch over them while they're tiny to make sure they don't get into trouble, because when you're smaller, when you're really big for the first time, it can be really overwhelming. So yeah, it tends to be my kind of considerations is just how badly could this go if I don't actively watch over those people. The third question from Victory 3002 is, how do you stay updated on the latest magical techniques and advancements in the field? So I do subscribe to a lot of academic journals, magazines, and stuff like that, which go over new uses for magic, new spells, new alchemical techniques, and so on. I know I don't probably seem like the kind of guy who'd be into that stuff, but I really do like reading about magic and its applications. And sometimes I'll even get like a mage from out of town. He'll show up at my shop to buy some supplies or look at the artifacts I've got, and I'll get to trade info with him too. So it's nice. The final question from Victory 3002 is, how do you source your ingredients for potions and materials for spells? Almost all the ingredients I use are gotten from foraging nearby with my mage's license. So all that does is let me know how much I can take of everything. And because I'm like the only mage here, I do have the benefit of I get a lot. And then the rest that I can't get from immediately around here, I usually get from trusted places that I learned about during my time learning Arcana in school, or from other mages who have stopped by my town. So yeah. Thank you for your questions, Victory 3002. I really appreciate it. And finally, Nova Wood Pack has 2 questions. The first one is, do you enjoy having the tiny listener around? And yeah, I love having all my friends around no matter the size. But when someone's smaller than me, like super tiny kind of small, it's great. Plus, I love getting to experience that size difference with them and to help them experience it in a fun way. It's way better than being small without anyone around. Or so I've gathered. The next question is, have you ever thought about safely eating or tasting the tiny listener? Absolutely. I wouldn't do it without making sure they were fine with it, of course. Because I imagine it would be pretty scary without fair warning, given what usually happens to things that end up in my stomach. But yeah, I'd love to put a tiny person on my tongue or swallow them if given a chance. I mean, if you're offering, I'm more than happy to set that up sometime. So, but yeah, thank you very much, Nova Woodpack, for the questions. And with that, I believe I have answered all of my questions for my part of the Q&A. Of course, if I accidentally skipped over your question or I, didn't answer it, please feel free to leave it down in the comment section, and I will get to it this time. I'll make sure that you get an answer to your question. But, yeah. Thank you all so much for the lovely questions. They were wonderful. I really enjoyed answering them and getting to talk about me and my life and all that stuff. I'm really flattered that you guys think so much about me. So, of course, if you like, stop by the shop sometime. We can have a little chat there. If you want to plan out something using some of my potions, you're welcome to. And, yeah. I'll catch you all later. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. It is a deep and genuine honor. Bye-bye for now. Hello, everyone. I hope that Shaudrey treated you all well, and that you all enjoyed his questions and answers. Of course, I am Riebeck, the Catboy, as you all know me, and I'll be doing my part of the questions now. So, without further ado, Primrose Bard Lycan asks, what is your favorite way to care for the tiny listener and for self-care? I'd love to know how you all relax or activities you find relaxing. Honestly, I really enjoy getting to pamper my friends. It's, whether they're big or small, I think it's really nice getting to, brush their hair, give them a massage, do a little face mask or something. I mean, who doesn't like being pampered a bit, right? I know I certainly don't mind it. And as for self-care, I do like walks in the forest, though I usually do those with my nature club, so I wouldn't really consider that self-care. Sometimes, if I've had a really bad day, I'll stop by this one local bakery nearby my house, and I'll pick up some pastries, and then I'll enjoy one or two of them while I listen to some relaxing music in a bubble bath. I have this little tray and everything that I always have by my bathtub, just in case I need it, so I don't get crumbs in my water. Let's see. Next, JellyKid66 asks, what are the 1 or 2 must-have items you'd bring to a beach day get-together? Good question. I would have to say I would absolutely have to bring some buckets and shovels along to build sandcastles with. I'm not very good at building sandcastles, but it's always very fun. Plus, depending on who I'm, with, we could build them together. And, if I have a small friend along, then we can make the castle for them, and they could rule over the beach in their little palace. Although that might require some flags or something. If a lot of passerbys are around, to let them know not to step on the castle. Or I could just stick around nearby it, which also works. Maybe we could even have like a rival castle, and the tiny friends could go to war with it or something. I don't know, it sounds like fun. Let's see. Next question from JellyKid66. If you were to have a platform to make content, what kind of content would you make? I think I would very much like to do some sort of nature photography kind of thing. Like, maybe I could do some darkroom photography. I've been told it is very expensive. However, assuming I had some sort of platform to display it at, maybe I could display it at museums or something. Does that count as a platform? I'm gonna say it counts. Then maybe I could display it at museums, and then I could show off how pretty the darkroom photography is. And maybe we could get more people into it. I think I like that. Let's see. And my final questions are from Cairo the Fudanshi, who asks, number 1, how big are we compared to you? Are we as big as your finger or borrower sized? Well, most of you, I imagine, are probably about my height, actually. Probably a bit taller. But those of you who are particularly small are probably as big as my hand. Sometimes I'll find a friend who's been shrunken down to about a foot tall or so. But I think that's usually about the tallest I've seen, while still being a genuinely tiny person. It's kind of cute, honestly. I do like getting to hang around my tiny friends, or my friends who are temporarily tiny. And the last question is, what's your favorite anime, if you watch it? Anime, it's been a little while since I watched my last anime, but... the new Pokemon show? Pokemon Concierge? I don't know if that one counts, but it's so beautiful to look at, and it genuinely makes me so happy. I also think the Ghibli movies, like Ponyo and My Neighbor Totoro, they're gorgeous as well. But those are also movies, so I don't think they count, do they? I have no idea. And I do have a few more questions. I completely forgot about them, but they are by Victory 3002, and so I'll be answering those right quick. Let's see. The first question is, are there any challenges you face as a catboy, either socially or personally? There are a few things I have to deal with that I don't think most other non-cat boys would have to deal with. Notably, I tend to purr really loudly when I get excited, and it can be a little bit disruptive because even when I'm trying to be quiet, I just start purring, and it is disruptive to me at times. I can only imagine it's disruptive to other people as well. But there's a few others. I have slightly heightened hearing, given that I have these big fluffy ears on my head. So, it can be a bit distracting sometimes. I'll hear noises, and especially because sometimes I'll be hanging around my human friends, and I'll hear something, and I will go to respond to it, or I'll ask them if they hear it, and they'll be completely oblivious to it, which is a bit disheartening at times. Next question is, what do you enjoy most about being a Catboy? I mean, it's might be a bit silly, but I do actually really enjoy being treated not dissimilarly to a cat. Head scritches and getting to play around with stuff. I make a bit of a stink about it, but I do get a lot of balls of yarn and little mouse toys for Christmas gifts, and they're actually quite fun to play around with. I try not to act like they are because it's a little bit embarrassing, but they are genuinely actually very enjoyable. So, and the last question here is, do you like milk, or is it too cliche to even ask about? And milk is okay. It's certainly up there on my beverages list. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it is certainly very nice. So, yeah, that would be it. I do believe, if I missed any of your questions, or if my good friend Shaudrey, the chill mage, missed any of your questions, please do feel free to leave them in the comments, and they will be answered there. I do apologize if that happened. Chances are it just got missed because there were quite a few questions here. So, thank you all so much for listening in. It's been an honor and a pleasure to get to do this all with you. And I really appreciate you all being here. So, yeah. Alright. I'll see you all later. And thank you so much for being here. Goodbye.